It's been 20 years since the worst natural disaster in America as Hurricane Katrina devastated the Gulf Coast, with New Orleans being ground zero. More than 1,800 people were killed and more than $200 billion in damages were reported as more than 80% of New Orleans sat underwater for weeks. The Crescent City built back bigger and better than ever and is now one of the top tourist attractions in the world. So joining us from the Superdome, which was the refuge for last resort of many of thousands of flood victims 2 decades ago, is Walt Leger, president of New Orleans and Company. So thank you so much for joining us. And the entire world saw the images and devastation of New Orleans years ago. So how did you rebuild the economy and business confidence?
Thanks so much, Jordan, and thanks to the people of Jacksonville and Florida. 20 years ago, friends, family, relatives were spread out all over America, and communities like yours opened their arms to us and took us in, and we'll be forever grateful for that. So today we're certainly sitting here with great gratitude for the many people who helped us along the way. And that's really ultimately how we rebuilt our community as well, with a lot of help along the way, but also with a lot of determined and persistent people of our community who recognized that there was really no doubt that this community was going to bounce back from the worst natural disaster and man-made disaster to ever strike our country. Along the way, we embraced the concept that tough times don't last, tough people do. And bit by bit, we rebuilt. A lot of help, though. I think about some of the people who helped us along the way, businesses and organizations who doubled down on our city when we needed it the most. And ultimately, we've come a long way and have a long way to go, but it's been an incredible 20 years of reflection on a lot of success.
And it's crazy to me that it has been 20 years. You're a native of New Orleans and a business leader. So what are some of the emotional and economic milestones of the 20-year journey?
Yeah, I mean, our community lost tens of thousands of homes, businesses overnight. Tens of thousands of people lost their jobs overnight. We canceled $2 billion worth of conferences, conventions, and meetings. And so some of the milestones that helped us to come back were things like the first Jazz Fest or the first Mardi Gras, major community gatherings where people came together, not just creating economic impact or opportunities for people to get their jobs back, but, a reason to remind us that this place was special and worth saving. I think about groups like the American Library Association that came back to our convention center with a citywide convention in June of 2006, about 9 months after Katrina, and said, we know that there are challenges, but we're going to come anyway. We're going to have our meeting. We're going to bring thousands of people to your community, and we're going to start a movement that is now referred to as volunteerism. They went out into our community as a part of their meeting, and they volunteered, and they helped to rebuild libraries. So many groups followed suit in the months and years that followed, saying that they wanted to be a part of the reemergence of one of America's greatest cities, and they were. And each and every one of those contributions led us back, put us on a path to reestablish ourselves as a great destination to visit, also an incredible place to live and work.
Yeah. So tell us also about the significance of the Superdome where you are currently.
Yeah, the Superdome, as you referenced earlier, it served as a refuge for people in the storm. More than 10,000 people found their way here when they were unable to evacuate out of the path. And it was a devastating time, a challenging time, and obviously significant damage to this building occurred. Leaders here in Louisiana, including former Governor Blanco, said, we've got to rebuild the Superdome. We need it. It's a symbol of hope and resilience. It's also an economic driver. And so by September of the next year, this building was hosting the return of the NFL with a major game between the Saints and the Falcons, one in which I think our city really had a major celebration and a feeling of hope that we were going to make it through this and that we were going to come back. And here we are. This building is now 50 years old. It's been invested in to keep renovating it and keeping it up to the highest of standards. And it recently just hosted things like the Taylor Swift concert last year, the 8th Super Bowl hosted in the Superdome, more than any other stadium anywhere in America. And so, again, it is a beautiful piece of architecture, an incredible historic building. But beyond that, it's a symbol of our city and the strength of our city.
Well, it's been wonderful to see everything evolve and grow and become better. And I'm so happy for you all who live there. So thank you so much for joining us. I'm glad you guys are doing well. And where can we go for more information?
Thank you so much. I really hope that people will come visit us. NewOrleans.com is the greatest source of information. Plan your next trip or visit, or reach out to us to plan a meeting, conference, or convention. We'd love to help you do it and love to welcome you to our very special home.
Well, thank you so much. And everyone at home, if you would like to see this interview again, just head to First Coast News Plus.